A means to an end. Some of this dialogue. How married are you? She killed me. I'm worth dying for. Is great dialogue. Let's just start there. So I'm thinking, okay, what is up with this girl? What does she want, really? Right? So I'm like, is this a serial killer that chooses her victims based off if they're faithful? You know, this can go so many different ways. Is she a desperate woman on the verge of trying to, just wanting to get pregnant? And I came to that conclusion just because of how turned off she was by the vasectomy scar. And so I'm like, okay, this is not just any married man will do. It needs to be a married man with the ability to have babies. And it also needs, and at the moment, I didn't understand why it needs to be married, because I'm just like, okay, if you really just want random sex, you can get that from any other guy in the bar. But for her, it has to be married because there has to be stakes for the person. And he has to be happily married because there has to be heavy stakes for the person. So now it makes sense where it's like the how married are you aspect of it. So, putting all that together, it got me the sense of, okay, she's trying to get pregnant. Now, why is she trying to get pregnant is the question. A question that I certainly did not have the answer for, no matter how many guesses I would have made. But let's go through some of the guesses before we get to the real. I'm like, is this just a sick satisfaction, returning to the bar to terrorize guys who cheated on their wives? Or is it just the want of getting pregnant by someone married? Does this a ploy, you know what I mean? And sharing that news. And then she gets into the wanting an old fashioned abortion. And I'm just like, okay, she clearly doesn't want the baby. So this is not about getting a baby. Is this a sick fetish? The whole wanting is this a masochist thing where it's like, I want to make you abuse me? And then I thought, okay, with everything going on about abortion, is this the right to choose? Is this a satire playing at that? Is this the idea that women somehow enjoy abortions? Is this what pro-lifers think about pro-choicers? I went through a whole rabbit hole about that. I thought it was interesting, like, can you even facilitate killing your unborn child, even if you have the stakes of your wife's inside? And, I thought that was a good idea, putting the wife in the bar to just make it like, I got to do this right now. I can't think about it. She can come outside. Does he have it in him? I don't think he does at first, and then he does. It's not easy for him, but he manages. And then, I see her with her little abortion hook, and I'm just like, is this really about to happen? Was not prepared for her eating the fetus. Like, what? You're sick. What? But it still, in my opinion, is a satire at pro-choice versus pro-life, because the way some of these abortion arguments are centered, you think that is literally what women are doing, having abortions for the sake of having them, all willy-nilly at the bar, just sleeping around just to get pregnant. What? Because we have a taste for fetus? It was oh man, I did not expect that at all. Very good job masking that. I mean, I knew she was off, but ooh, honey, off she was.
A means to an end. It definitely makes you feel the uncomfortability. I think it's intentional in the sense that this shouldn't feel right. Uh, yeah, I'm still digesting that ending. Uh, uh, yeah, that was very. It was a very uncomfortable film, but I think that's the point. Uh, it very much. For one, it gives the warnings of infidelity, but it puts such an uncomfortable spin on it, uh, where the man, he basically has one of two choices: either he follows her demands or he tells the truth, and it's a very uncomfortable situation. Uh, but yeah, it was a very intense film.
Means to an End was a film that snuck up on me. Did not go where I thought it was going to go. It's definitely really tense, very mysterious at the start, but by the end, the movie feels completely insane. And I mean that in a good way. It's very gross at the end. I physically cringed watching it, which it's not something that happens often. I'm a fan of horror films and I watch a decent amount of them, and I very rarely react in that way. But this moment at the end got me. And I think that's exactly what the filmmakers wanted. I think they wanted the audience to feel uncomfortable. And if that's the case, then congratulations, because you definitely pulled it off. But outside of just that one big moment, the build up to the film, or build up through the film rather, is great as well. The performances are all really well suited to their parts. I think all the actors are portraying these characters excellently. And the pacing is great. It does a good job of building to that final reveal, making you ask questions but never giving too much away where you know exactly where the film is going, because I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, and I thought that this was very well done.
A Means to an End was sick, but in the best way. It was really interesting. It kind of gave like a idea of like Black Widow, like the spider, not the superhero, meets a promising young woman meets a pregnancy test. It was really interesting to see this woman using these men as a means to an end to get pregnant, but and like, you know, killing them off, to also see like how loyal they are and going after these married men, specifically married men who can get her pregnant. And you know, she presents the stakes not only to them as like, you know, I'm gonna tell on you for being unfaithful, but also like, you know, building the stakes of, will she get pregnant, will this happen? Like there's so many moving parts in this that make it really intriguing to watch and horrifying at the same time. So I really want to commend this lead actress for bringing this insane character to life, and creating this really insane picture of a woman, and, you know, entrapping these men in her web before killing them off and having a baby. So really, really interesting concept, really fun to watch.
What a psycho. She's the main character. First, you're wondering why she's specifically going after married men. You're sure she wants to get pregnant, but you don't expect it's because she wants to eat the baby or the placenta. I assume it's to stay young. It's bizarre, that's for sure. She's it's definitely a different idea for a horror film, targeting married men for the reason to stay young. I'd say if it's expanded into a feature, explore why this is the particular motive she's going for. the way she's doing it. I do understand ancient rituals had eating the young to stay young as a kind of a sick fountain of youth. I understand that's what they did, and maybe it's a play on that. But yeah, this follows a very sick and demented woman.
This review is for means to an end. This movie is so gore and totally outrageous. It is quite out there, and it really, really scares on the level of goreness. The ending was totally unexpected. I kind of hinted what was this about, but I was totally wrong, and that's why I liked it. It was so unexpected, so outrageous, and yeah, I love their special effects. The pickup lines were so aggressive, I guess. Let's say it was so, yeah. I like the backstory and how this character accomplishes what she needs. And yeah, it's an interesting film.